If you are joining this video, share it, invite others to join. And I think there is something I did not do before starting up this broadcast. But that's by the way. We will invite other people to join. Share the video if you are joining us. So, first of all, we want to talk about the news of the passing of the Queen Elizabeth II, which took place So let's go to the news quickly. Let's just bring you the news. Queen Elizabeth II, the UK longest serving monarch, has died at Balmoral, age 96, after reigning for 70 years. Her son, King Charles III, said the death of his beloved mother was a moment of great sadness for him and his family, and that her loss will be deeply felt around the world. Senior royal had gathered at her Scottish estate after concerns grew about her health earlier on Thursday, which is today. The Queen came to the throne in the year 1952 and witnessed enormous social changes. His Majesty the King said, "We mourn profoundly the passing of the cherished sovereign and a much-loved mother. I know her loss will be deeply felt throughout the country, the realms, and Commonwealth, and by countless people around the world." He said during the period of mourning and change, he and his wife will be comforted and sustained by our knowledge of respect and deep affection in which the Queen was so widely held. In a statement, Buckingham Palace said the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and Queen consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. All Queen's children travel to Balmoral, near Aberdeen, after the doctors placed the Queen under medical supervision. Her grandson, Prince William, is also there with his brother Prince Harry and on his way. Prime Minister Liz Truss, who was appointed by the Queen on Tuesday, said the monarch was the rock on which modern Britain was built, and she had provided us with the stability and strength that we needed. Speaking about the new king, she said, "We offer him our loyalty and devotion, just as his mother devoted so much to so many for so long." And with the passing of the second Elizabethan age, we usher in a new era in the magnificent history of great country, exactly as Her Majesty would have wished, by saying the words, "God save the King." Obituary: a long life marked by the sense of duty. Moment of her death was announced on BBC. Queen Elizabeth II's tenure as head of state spanned post-war austerity, the tension from the Empire to Commonwealth, the end of the Cold War and the UK entry into and withdrawal from the European Union, her reign spanned 15 prime ministers, starting with the Winston Churchill, born in 1974, including MS Truss, born 101 years later in 1975. She held weekly audiences with her prime minister throughout her reign at Buckingham Palace in London. Crowd awaiting updates on Queen's condition began crying as they heard of her death. The Union flag on top of the place was lowered to half-mast at 1830 BST, and an official notice announced the death was posted on a cell outside. So I think that is the way we saw it, that the Queen of England had died. So the question here now is that, you know, it is true, death awaits every man, both good, both bad. Death awaits every man. So, in this life, after death, the judgment follows. And what will the judgment look like? It will look like, what did she do when she was alive? What type of a person was she when she was alive? These are the questions that will be asked. These are the judgment that will be passed accordingly. Everybody that lived in this world, of course, they have friends, they have well-wishers, they have enemies. They have wronged people, people have wronged them. So in this case, we say RIP to Queen Elizabeth II. Regardless of what you have deprived us in Africa, we say RIP to you, because that is the only thing we are going to do for the dead. And I hope that whoever that is going to replace you will talk about the freedom of this continent called Africa, that they may be free from the bondage of colonial era. And we wish that whoever that is going to take your position will bring equity to the world. Rest in peace. So, great people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, I believe that our leader Onyendu will be going to court very soon, which is on the 13th of September, which is this month where we are today. He will be going to court, and I know very well that, you know, the DOS supposed to be online this evening, but I believe something came up that they did not make it. So that is the reason why we need to talk about our leader going to court. Of course, we know what we called our normalcy, because it's supposed to be the normalcy right now, because Each time that our leader have to go to court, there must be a total shutdown in Biafra land. So we don't need to be reminded about that. It is order that has been issued and gazetted. Until this is over, we will continue to maintain and obey that order. We must maintain and obey that order in solidarity with the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra going to court for the sake of our freedom, because of course you will know that him going to court, each time he goes to court, you will understand that it is Biafra as a nation going to court. So we will give that respect. We will stand in solidarity with him, making sure that we support him, making sure that he does not feel all alone. That is the most important thing that you can do for him. So, as it is, there are not much things to say about what is going on around our world today. All we are here to say is that you shouldn't forget. You should not forget that our leader going to court, there are many things that we need to remind Nigeria. And those things we need to remind Nigeria, we need to bring back so many things, which I have compiled, and I was supposed to bring that program, but unfortunately that program will be held maybe tomorrow. That program will be held tomorrow because I don't have the right gadget in order to air that program right now. I'm not using the right gadget to air that program right now. That is the reason why we are not going to do the program. So we know the basic things that we're supposed to do each time our leader is going to court. It is to stand in solidarity with him, to make sure we go to Abuja and give him our support. Of course, Nigeria government, they are playing their card, trying to make sure that IPOB does not get its freedom or her freedom. That Biafra does not get her freedom. But they will always fail. They will fail. As you see me, it is very, very important that we remind this Nigeria, the Zoological Republic or Republic, we remind them that the time of change is now. The time for change is now. It is time to change what has been destroying us. And it's also time for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to gain his freedom, because he has done nothing. He's only asking for his freedom. He's only asking for the freedom of his nation. It is not a crime to ask for freedom. It is not a crime to push for referendum, because even Britain today, they had their referendum from European Union. As many countries had their referendum from Britain. So, in our own case, it will not be different. We must gain our freedom. We must gain the sovereignty of our nation, Biafra. As Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be going to court, we must sit at home. We must go and support him at Abuja. Regardless of what the enemy is trying to do, we are going to emerge victoriously. We are going to win this battle that you see going on. We are going to win. The time of change is here. The time for change is now. The time for new era. The time for new generation, to take their power back. It is now. It is now time for Africa to bring, their glory back. There is no more time. No time to waste. We must bring back the glory of Africa. We must bring it back. And there is no way we are going to miss it this time, because it is now or never. It is now or never. We have been living and feeding from hand to mouth, depending on the Europeans to make choices for us, to make everything for the world to revolve around them. We cannot even make choices. We cannot even make healthy choices for ourselves. We depend on them to make choices for us. I believe it is that time now that we are going to make these choices for ourselves. It is time for us to take back what they have stolen from us. It is time, because if you see this hero, Queen Elizabeth II, that she is a hero of Europe. She is a hero of Britain. She has been there making sure that everything works for the betterment of the Europeans, for the betterment of Britain. Now she is no more. The most important thing is that power will shift. Power will shift. She's a strong woman. She is a woman who knows what her nation deserves. She's a woman who fought to make sure that she does not lead her nation to poverty. She is that woman. Now, it is not everything that, these people did to us that we will, always talk about. It is not everything that they did to us that we will always talk about. Why? Because we cannot continue to talk without finding a solution to solve our problems. Because the problem we have as a continent of Africa is a problem of mental weakness. We can actually rise above our expectation. We can actually do what people believe we cannot do. But the only enemy that we have is ourselves against ourselves. If we are able to bring, this ourselves, to love ourselves, we will be able to make the greatest continent in the world because we have what it takes. We possess everything it takes to make this nation, this continent great. We possess it. The reason why I give this, queen the respect and say RIP to her. She cared for her nation. You give it to her. There has never been an African leader who cared for his nation or her nation, who will ever go out of their way in order to make sure that their nation is the best. That is the reason why I give it to her. That is the reason why I say RIP to her. She left a legacy. Regardless of what they have done to us, she did it to protect her nation. Now, what are you willing to do for your nation? Which mountain are you willing to climb for your nation that you may be remembered in that nation? Imagine before she was in her dying bed, people who were waiting to get the news of what, the update, they were already crying. It means she left a legacy. The legacy might not be in favor of me and you, but it is in favor of her nation. There is something you will learn from the legacy she left for her people. Resilient. It will take us to win and make our nation great. Fight for what you believe in. Achieve what you believe in, regardless of who is going to be there to enjoy it. It does not matter. What matters is that she fought for her nation, even though she exploited many nations, but it is for the sake of her nation. That is the world, how it is. For the sake of her nation, of her people, not only for her. But the question is, how many of your leaders sacrifice anything? How many of your leaders, according to the history of this continent of Africa, went out of their way to bring good life to his people? How many of them? Absolutely none of them. What is your people going to write home about you when you are no more? What is it? What will be the judgment that your people is going to use against you when you are no more? It is in Africa. They will continue to, if any leader in Africa die, I don't think, or any president dies in Africa, I don't think that her people will cry. They will not cry. But no matter how many years she is very old, but people still cry because she gave them a better life. She never give me and you a better life. And we're not supposed to be expecting better life from her. We cannot expect better life from her because she is not an African woman. She is a Briton from Europe. She gave better life for her people in Europe. The same thing that our leaders today supposed to be doing for us. The same thing that our leaders today are supposed to be doing for us. The world is full of politics. What are you willing to sacrifice to make your nation great? If you begin to go down the history of this woman, you will understand what they have sacrificed to make Great Britain great. That is the reason why you hear Great Britain. Great Britain. What are you willing to sacrifice for your nation? This is the same thing. History is already writing for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu what he is sacrificing to restore the dignity of and the sovereignty of Biafra, the land of the rising sun. The reason why, of course, many of you might be surprised. Why am I talking like this about the Queen of England, who took part in the suffering that we are going through today? Yes, I am actually praising her because she fought for her nation. She lived a legacy for her nation. Even though she exploited other nations, it does not matter. In the jungle, if you cannot fight a lion, they will eat you up in the jungle. This world is run like a jungle. The resilient people win. People who are resolute, they are the people who eat the benefit, who reap the benefit of this world. How many African leaders are committed to doing something that is going to elevate their nation? Even going out of their way to do something to elevate their nation. No one. Go to UK now. People are mourning the death of 96-year-old woman. Old queen. 96-year-old queen. 75 years old monarch. In the reign. 75 years. Of being the queen of England. And I believe the British people, they have never for one day regretted making her the queen. Even if she stole from me and you, she stole it to make Britain great. And she was able to steal it because people who are supposed to be protecting things that we have or we had, they were not, resolute enough to do so. The same thing happening around the world today, around Africa as a nation. You allow yourself to be used. There will be no way that people from the first world country will exploit us without using our people. It is somebody who gave up for somebody to give in. If there is nobody who refuses to, accept defeat, there will be nobody to win against another person. It is somebody, what am I trying to say? It is somebody from our land, our continent, who gave in for these people to come and exploit us in order to establish their nation where it is today. Kudos to them. Kudos to them. They did a great job. That is a hero. How many heroes do you have in Africa? How many heroes do you have in Africa? We continue to celebrate our boogeyman. We cannot even recognize our heroes. She is a hero of Britain. And they are celebrating her. Celebration of her life. That is what is going to happen. Celebration of her life. Who is willing to go to America to bring good things that life brings, even though it is going to take their lives? Who is resolute enough to lead in Africa? No one. So when you hear or when you see people who were able to sacrifice, to pay a sacrifice for their future generation to live a better life, whether they did whatever thing they did against you, you must appreciate them because they won against you. They won against you. You were not strong enough for them to win. You were not strong enough for them to win. So you have to appreciate them at some point in life. Do you think if there are no smaller animals in the zoo that the lion will thrive? Lion will go hungry. Lion will die of hunger. The zoo will not even be a place to stay. You see, in this world, if you want to qualify this world, qualify the world as a zoo. But what makes this, where you are going to now, bring in something different is human beings make their choices. Maybe in the zoo, some of these animals, they don't have choices to make once they come across a lion. But a human being have the ability to make their choices. But the choices of those who came before us, their choices never worked in the favor of anybody. Rather, their choices destroyed us. Their choices place us in abject poverty. Their choices place us under British oligarchy. Their choices place us under neo-colonial power. That is where their choices placed us. People like Azikiwe. That is where their choices placed us. Because they don't have that mental strength to hold on. Don't let go. They never had it. When you talk about epitome of mental strength, you talk about Europeans. Because a lot of you might think they just, came and they go. Because when they penetrated into the continent of Africa, I know that Facebook is kicking people out because what we are saying here, they don't want to hear it. If they kick you out, please join back. They will kick you out. If they kick you out, bring back yourself. In the continent of Africa, before they even started taking over this continent of Africa, called Africa, a lot of them died. But they know that they must continue. That the only way they will make the death of those people that died, that had fallen, meaningful, is to keep their eyes on the ball. That you must pay a sacrifice before you attain any hierarchical position. You must make a sacrifice. Now, they paid their sacrifice. They kept their eye on the ball. Now, you are now telling yourself, he who fight and run away, live to fight for tomorrow. By the time you run away, they have taken over. They will use what you have in order to expand expand their military power, in order to expand their territory. Where are you going to stand when you finish running away, coming back to fight this your battle? Where are you going to stand? There are some adage that is being used for our people that is supposed to be abolished, because those adage are the reason why you will not face your problem. You run away from them. And there is this adage that say that the water that is there in that container outside is there for the dog. Whether the dog like it or not, whenever he feel hungry or thirsty, it will go and drink that water. So you can never run away from your responsibility. The problem of our people, we keep running away from our responsibility. We keep running away from the things that we're supposed to stay back and solve them. And the more you are running away from them, the more the problem is doubling, the more it is escalating. If you begin to tackle problem when it is still small, I believe the problem will not overwhelm you. It is like somebody who is developing a medical condition. If you begin to tackle that problem that leads to a medical condition from the beginning, it will not overwhelm you. But if you are leaving it to accumulate, telling yourself, he who fight and run away live to fight for another day, you are fooling yourself. You are fooling yourself. There is no such thing that he who fight and run away live to fight for another day. Face your enemy head on. Keep your eyes on the ball until you achieve what you want to, you have to. Until you achieve what you know that you are fighting to achieve. People have died for the sake of that thing. You don't give up. You don't let go. That is what you will learn from, the life of Queen Elizabeth II. Remove what they did to Africa now from your mind. Think about how they were willing to pay a sacrifice to go and expand their territory. Think about what they were willing to lose in order to gain better. So now, in this, my long story to cut it short and contextualize it with what we are doing, you will know that you have to know that resilience is the key. You do not fight to walk away. You fight to continue until what you are fighting is finished. You continue to fight. You continue to push. You continue to fight for your freedom, because freedom that we are fighting is what we are going to enjoy in the future. What we are fighting and dying for today is what we are going to enjoy tomorrow. So what she fought at her young age is what she enjoyed, and now live for her next generation to enjoy. What have you fought to live for your next generation to enjoy? That is the big question this evening, this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you are. What have you sacrificed in life for the sake of the unborn generation? For the sake of that nation that you are hoping to go into? Are you willing to sacrifice, or are you coming to destroy or to take or to reap where you did not sow? Because in life there are two people. People who come to help to achieve your dream, and people who come into your, three people. People who come to help you achieve your dream, to elevate you. People who come to bring you down. People who come to see what they are going to achieve from you. When are we going to work together without having this type of people who only come to selfishly benefit, not to sacrifice? When are we going to work without having these people who will come for their selfish purpose, for their selfish benefit? When are we going to have such people and we will be working together with them? Is this even possible in the black nation? Is it possible in the black nation? It is a big question that we keep asking ourselves, because all this self-hate, because of selfishness, because of greed, conflict of interest all over the place. There are some times, when you don't need to care who did it. All you need to is to support that person who knows how to do it. Don't place yourself as if you know it all. Just like the infiltrators that we have today. Their problem is, why would it be Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that will do it? That is the only problem they have. Why will it be Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that will do it? This is how the self-hatred starts. This is how it consumes you. This is how it prolongs your situation. This is how it prolongs your suffering. Because you always ask yourself, why would it not be me that does it? Without understanding that these fingers, they are not equal. And all these, perflex or these marks on the palm of your hands, they are not the same with mine. Everybody, have their own different marks, different talent, different destinies, different opinions. Now, you now come in because you believe that this person is doing it. It appears to be easy. That because they are doing it, it appears to you that it is easy. You can do it better than them. It is good to have